Welcome into another episode of Two Guys and a Mic. I am Scott, joined with Tony in the middle and Mike on the side. Welcome back, Tony. Tony was on a little hiatus.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back.
So, with that said, guys, week 15 recap. We decided instead of doing like a little schedule this week, we're going to just kind of freestyle some talk, just kind of discuss topics that we want to go with. But the one thing that we did want to start off with is about the Steelers' safety, the Monte Kazi being suspended for his hit on Michael Pittman. Now, I do know he has had other infractions in the past, and I think that's why they suspended him. But I'm actually kind of against him getting suspended. I think the problem with the defensive side in the NFL is that there's just too many rules that go against them. They've taken away your ability to just, I guess, react to the play. That was a poorly thrown ball, and Michael Pittman's coming straight. All of a sudden, he dives for the ball. Kazi puts his head down to obviously hit him in the waist. He wasn't trying to hit him in the head, but because the ball was thrown poorly and he had to dive, helmet to helmet, it's going to happen. And I just don't agree with that. And he had a really good point. He says, "This is football. I signed up for full contact football, and
not flag football."
Yeah, and all these plays happen in a split second. You have a split second to make a decision. Is this guy jumping? Is this guy diving? What's going to happen? And I feel bad for the defensive side of the ball. And you know what? He even goes to the quarterbacks. There's been so many bullshit
calls. Yeah, I mean, it goes back to that single point that you made right now, Scott. That how do you make that split second decision of stopping yourself? And even then, if you pass that split second moment that you don't even get to make a decision, once your body is flying in the air, you ain't stopping. It's like all those bullshit calls against, you're talking about against quarterbacks, where you have this freaking 300-pound dude flying through midair. Quarterback still has the ball, lets go of the ball, gets hit by the guy, and they call roughing the passer because he hit the quarterback and he didn't have the ball. It's like, dude, he was midair. What do you want him to do? It's the same concept here. They were midair. He made a decision, jumped into it. Just so happened that Pittman flew forward and had to dive and catch the ball and got hit in the. I don't think it was intentional, and I don't think it should have been called. I don't think it should be suspended. Completely disagree with it, but it's unfortunate. I think there's a lot of weight to what Tom Brady was saying about this type of football. It's just not. I don't know. It's not gonna last long.
If Pittman doesn't dive, that's a textbook hit right to the dude's side.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, the other thing about that too is let's say he had an opportunity to lean up, right, and he jumps over Pittman. Okay, we touch him in the NFL for them to be down. So let's say Pittman dives for the ball, he jumps over Pittman. Pittman gets up and starts running. How is that fair for a defensive player?
Yep. Or what if he doesn't hit him? What if he doesn't even hit him? What if he dives under him and he's able to stop him, right? So if you look at where he got hit, the line of impact it was kind of like a wall, right? The way that DeMonte hit him and the way that Pittman came in, it kind of just stopped and he fell. If he would have hit him any other way, let's say he went a little bit lower, hit his legs or something, Pittman would have gotten an extra yard or two from that dive. A yard or two can make or break a team. That's a field goal. That could have been the yard or two they needed to get a first down, to get a touchdown, to win the game. You play the game to help your team win, and there are some hits that you're just like, oh yeah, that's just, you shouldn't be playing dirty like that. But this is not one of them, not even remotely close.
And I think the other thing too is with Pittman getting hurt and getting concussed and being out for the game, I think the NFL went back and looked at that, and that's when they decided to do something about it. I think if that hit had happened and Pittman just got up like everything was perfectly fine, I actually don't think he would have gotten he probably would have gotten fined, but I don't think he would have gotten suspended at all. But I think because the hit ended up causing personal injury, I think that's when the NFL said, okay, you've had enough instances where we're going to go ahead and suspend you for the season. Now, I can understand the NFL wanting to protect players and everything, and there's a difference between someone doing something on purpose and someone just reacting to what's happening in front of them. So I don't agree with it. I think it's bullshit, and I would be pissed off too if I was him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think to me this is the same. I agree with you that they're having a reactionary type of response to Pittman getting hurt, and they're like, okay, now we have to make an example of him, right? But I wish they would just do that everywhere else. Prime example, I think the same concept applies here with like turf fields. Look at the Jets stadium. How many people have been hurt on that because of that turf? Like it's really like it's not even like an argument you can be made that it's not a major factor in guys getting hurt. How many guys have been hurt because of the turf? You don't see the NFL finding owners because they're choosing to keep the turf and not change to real grass. Whereas you have so many instances of guys getting hurt because of turf and not because of real grass. It's just, and they're not finding owners for that. So I just don't see a consistent story with the NFL and the way they find people and the way they suspend players. And it's not consistent. It's annoying.
They pick and choose on when they want to hand out harsher penalties.
Yep, they pick and choose, and this unfortunately players have to suffer.
And this is on top of whatever he's going to get fined.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So how about that Monday night game though? Philadelphia blowing a great opportunity because after this they have 2 games. What is it? 2 games against the Giants, right? They have left.
Yeah, their last 3 go Giants, Cardinals, Giants.
Yeah. So if they have beat Seahawks, there's without a doubt in my mind they go through the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
They just blew what would have been an obvious number 2 seed at minimum. You don't
Mm-hmm.
still lose. It's the NFL. They still have a really tough Rams team to play who's been playing really good, and they play them at the end of the year. And the Rams offenses, the Stafford's look great the last that offense has been like on fire. I think because Kupp is back to 100%.
Yeah.
Well, Kupp is back, and then now you have another weapon with Puka.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Cameron Williams is doing amazing.
And the Niners also have the Ravens to play. Now, it's at home. I'll give the Niners a little bit of an edge because of that. But that's going to be an absolute bloodbath of a game. It's going to be an exciting game on Christmas Day. Everyone's going to be pumped up for that game. But with that being said, I felt like teams might still have an opportunity at the number 1 seed. And I felt like Dallas and Philadelphia both blew that opportunity this week. The fact that the Eagles, if you look at all the teams that are going into the playoffs, at least the top 5 seeded teams, the Eagles have by far given up the most points. Like, it's not even close. And
I think them trading for the Titans safety, I don't remember his name, we talked about it, did nothing. Did absolutely nothing for them. Didn't help them at all. Their defense is just getting dominated, and their offense can't really make anything happen.
Yeah, I really question the play calling in that fourth quarter. I don't understand the shot to the end zone with 8 minutes left, and you're up. First down, I think they were on Seattle's 45, and they took a shot to the end zone that got intercepted. The thing that I think Philadelphia has forgotten is that they're a run-first offense. Like, you have the best offensive line in the NFL. Do what you should be doing. Run the ball. It's not like Swift was just getting bottled up all night. He averaged over 4 yards a carry. If you go back to a lot of their wins, like early in the season, Swift was heavily involved, not only in the rushing, but he was getting a lot of receptions. And it was really helping them out a lot on offense. And they have slowly moved away from that. And because of it, they've lost 3 of their last 5 games. And now
that sucks.
Now, Dallas, on the other hand, Dallas is now 0-3 against. I know it's a weird stat, but they're 0-3 against teams with a winning record when the game is played outside of a dome. So anytime it's outside against with a team with a winning record, they lose, and it's not like they barely lose.
Yeah,
they
get demolished like that. That's been the Cowboys season is just you either demolish the other opponent or you get demolished. Like there was no in between.
Yeah,
They demolish the Giants.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, hold on. Going back to the Eagles, like their schedule they have. The Giants, man. I don't know. I believe in the DeVito way, man. I love seeing this in the crowd of just like that. That's family right there. That is the sensation you see in Italian movies. That's what you get when you watch the Giants right now. You see because they've never had representation in the NFL like that. Even like he's not known in name, and the kid's making things happen. Man, people.
But the shitty thing for him, no matter what he does, he's not going to be the starter next year.
It doesn't matter. He don't need
They're
to be no
paying
fucking
way
starter.
too much money for Daniel Jones.
It doesn't matter. He don't need to be no fucking starter. He had proven himself that he can go somewhere else. Somebody else will sign him, or they start doing shitty and they put him in next season, and the Giants take the hit, or they trade fucking Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is garbage,
But let's also not get ahead of ourselves. This also remember what happened to Dobbs once he went.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up.
Yeah,
it's just, talk about my boy Dobbs. He's having a down.
Dude, I feel really bad for the guy. Like the guy was just on an absolute Cinderella story,
bro. I said, man, I wanted the Vikings and the Texans to go to the Super Bowl, and they let me down over the past few weeks.
Yeah, the clock struck midnight on Dobbs, and yeah, that carriage turned back into a pumpkin. But
Scott, going back to what you were talking about with the Eagles on points that they have given up compared to the other top seeded teams, I'm not going to include any of the teams from the NFC South. I mean, that's just
the Bucs. Actually, look at the Buccaneers. They're not terrible.
Well, no. The Eagles have given up more points than the Bucs, the Saints, and the Falcons.
That's not good, considering
the Eagles have given up 341 points. Dallas has given up 264. Detroit 331. So Detroit's given up a lot. Niners 234. Go look at the points forced though. Philadelphia 359. Dallas 431. Detroit 382 and San Francisco 425.
It doesn't matter, man.
Philadelphia is a plus 18.
Yeah, and I've been saying it for a long time. I was saying at the beginning of the year, even when they started off 5-0, and you know what? They had a cakewalk schedule last year. I didn't think they would be in the Super Bowl. I really didn't. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you're a salty 49ers fan. But we proved that what we would have done to them last year. But the thing is that...
Nah, you know what? Oh, fucking damn. I hate that I'm about to fucking say this. God damn it, you. I feel like the Niners, had they not had such a roller coaster first half of the season, you probably would have done a lot better than you would have been in the Super Bowl last year. Only because imagine Brock Purdy had gotten the opportunity at the beginning versus Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance. Like those games mattered, right? They mattered it from a win-loss perspective, but they also mattered for experience that Brock Purdy didn't get. So
it was the injury.
Hold on,
that's what caused it.
I'm going to stop you right there. This is the thing. I actually think it was really good that Purdy got to sit behind, because the reason being is that Brock Purdy was also the scouting quarterback. So when the defense was scheming week in and week out, Brock Purdy got to play against that defense all the time, the number ones. And also, Kyle Shanahan's offense takes a while to learn. So I think sitting back, and he praised Jimmy Garoppolo a lot. He said he learned a lot about the offense from Garoppolo. They would always talk and go over things. And the one thing about Purdy that I do like is that even though he was a third-string quarterback, it's clear that he was prepping week in and week out as if he was going to be the starter. And I think that showed when he took over early in that Miami game, because he pretty much took it over like as if he's been running the offense. But I've gone back and watched last year Purdy and this year Purdy, and as good as Purdy was last year,
Purdy, huh?
Dude, he has improved. He has improved so much. Like, dude, the dude's confidence is just like freaking just. It's out there. People are saying that Brock Purdy should be MVP, and I the problem with that is they always give it to a quarterback, and I think what they need to start doing is with the MVP. I think you need to have a non-quarterback MVP.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, they need to do a best quarterback type MVP, and then they need to do a best non-quarterback MVP as far as offense. Now, to me, Christian McCaffrey this year is the MVP. Like, as much as I love Brock Purdy, and I think the dude is just absolutely balling out, and he leads in all kinds of categories, in all the right categories as well. But he is on pace for 24 touchdowns, 2,200 all-purpose yards. The dude is just having one of those seasons where if you took his production out, the Niners wouldn't be nearly as good as they've been. And I'm not saying you can take Brock Purdy out and stick in Sam Darnold and have the same results. In fact, Darnold came in for a few plays when Purdy got hurt this last week, and the dude just overthrows the damn ball, man. He tries to throw it 100 miles an hour. That's been his problem, is that Sam Darnold has such a great arm, but he doesn't know how to finesse the ball, and that's something that Purdy does really well. He knows when he needs to sling it, and he knows when to finesse it, and that's actually, if you look at a lot of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, that's what they're really good at, and Purdy can do that. So, but if you were to take CMC out of that offense, it would not run the same. I'm sorry, it wouldn't. He's a phenomenal blocker. He's a phenomenal runner. He's a phenomenal catcher. There's just things that he brings to the table that I feel like no other running back does at the level that he does it at. You know what I mean? So that's
I don't disagree with that, because I feel like we always see I feel like sometimes they struggle to try to find a quarterback to give it to. I'm like, bro, there's plenty of other positions that like they're out playing outstanding. Like Christian McCaffrey deserves it 100%. I don't like, at one point in the first half of the season, Tyreek Hill deserved it for the shit that he's able to open up on that offense. I mean, he's at 1,600 yards basically this so far this season. This got 3 games. Well, I want to see how much he gets in 2 games, because that's representative of the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years. I think
you may have the MVP that goes to a quarterback, but I think offensive player of the year then would go to McCaffrey.
More likely, but
but that's so stupid though. Like, most valuable player on both sides of the ball can't just be quarterback every fuck. Then change it to be most valuable quarterback. Don't call it most valuable player.
Yeah, and I want to say the last non-quarterback to win the MVP wasn't Adrian Peterson in 2012.
Let me look.
That was the last time a non won.
Last non-QB, it was Adrian Peterson in 2012.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, and that even goes. I'm going to college on the Heisman. Charles Woodson was the last defensive player to win the Heisman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
that was that long ago.
You're talking about college, Mike. It's in college is not.
Yeah, it's completely different.
Yeah, you get pretty much any player in college can win the Heisman. It's, for some reason, the NFL, it's just always going to be the quarterback. It's just the way that it is. So that's why I do feel that they need to change the way that they are going to go ahead and start handing out, that particular award.
Oh, shit.
So,
dude, Tyreek Hill is most likely going to break the NFL receiving yards, his own, before the 17 game mark, or before the 16 game mark, if he plays, which I hope he does. He will. I think he will, because at this point he's going for a record, and that's something, dude. Because he's at 1592. And he's at 1592 right now. And in last year, he was at 1710. At finishing 1710.
A couple weeks ago, he was on pace for just under 2100.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. But he's not going to get there. Yeah,
well,
he's not going to get there next 3 weeks.
I'll tell you this: if I'm the Dolphins, I don't care about records. I care about getting Tyreek healthy come playoffs. They still have an opportunity to win the number 1 seed if, because let's just say Baltimore loses to the Niners, Miami wins out. They both have 4 losses. I haven't looked into who owns
Yeah, I don't know who has the tiebreaker.
but they still have an opportunity at the number one seed. So
yeah, I disagree with that statement though, Scott. I think they should go for the record and the win. The Niners are doing it with McCaffrey. They're fucking out there beating people fucking 65,000 to 0, and McCaffrey's still going for a fucking touchdown because he wants to break a record. Because at that point, it's not about the playoffs and winning. It's about being in the history books, and that's going to put him in the history books. It's both, right? You can have both, and the Niners are doing. They didn't need to dominate their team again, but they were going to give McCaffrey, who deserves it, same as Tyreek Hill, a shot at breaking a record. Obviously, it didn't work out, but they gave him the opportunity, and I think they need to do the same with Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, so but you want your cake and be able to eat it too.
Yeah, because it's there, Mike. No. Because those.
And what happens when you already have that locked up and you're going for the record and the player gets hurt?
Thank you.
It's the same reason. It's the same reason you take your starters out in a blowout game.
I completely agree. The Niners didn't do it, and look at McCaffrey's numbers got ran up. Because at that point, it's not about the player. And if I'm the player, I want the record too. I want both. You can have your cake and eat it too in these special circumstances. When you have a team that is more than capable of taking you to the playoffs, and you have players who can make it happen, those players deserve to make the record.
McCaffrey, you just said it when you were talking about the whole deal with McCaffrey and MVP. McCaffrey gets hurt, that team's fucked.
No, Scott said that, and I don't think anybody disagrees.
Exactly.
But then you're not arguing for the fucking Niners. You're not mad at the Niners because they're doing that. You're not mad at I don't hear you guys arguing that the Niners are fucking running up the fucking scoreboard and they're still fucking having everybody out there.
Look, if McCaffrey was injured, like let's say he sprained his ankle, okay, like Tyreek Hill did, I would be like, dude, just sit him because we have the Niners have the team capable of winning when they're fully healthy. I don't even think they can advantage on the road. It doesn't matter. They've proven that they can win anywhere. So with that said, if McCaffrey were to even slightly hurt anything, I'd be like, dude, I don't give a shit. Send him out the next week. And you know what? And McCaffrey, I know he's a great competitor, but you have to look at the whole. You play the regular season for the playoffs. You don't play it if you break records and you're perfectly healthy, that's one thing. It's another thing to sit there and try to play on a high ankle sprain at the end of the season.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that.
But then you go, but that's what I'm saying with Tyreek Hill. Like, if I am the Dolphins, you're going to make the playoffs. Okay.
Yeah, and I agree. But I think if Tyreek Hill wants to do it, I'm not going to. I wouldn't argue with him. I would explain what you're explaining, but I wouldn't argue with him. If he wants to do it, if he feels like he's up to playing and he can get through it, let's roll. Let's rock and roll, baby. But because at the same time, he's aging out. Tyreek Hill's aging out.
Exactly. So injuries are going to take longer for him to get over.
Yeah. And so a record is something he'll never be able to do again.
Okay, let me ask you this. You'd say the Dolphins have a pretty good team. They have a team capable of maybe making the Super Bowl. Yep. Okay? And if you had to, as a coach, if you had to pick between, okay, Tyreek Hill isn't quite healthy, and it's the last week of the season when you're not going to get a first-round bye, and you look at Tyreek Hill and you're like, okay, we're going to need this guy healthy for the playoffs. We have an opportunity either A, I let him play hurt and try to break the record, or B, I sit him out because I'm looking at the bigger picture for the team. It's not about Tyreek.
I understand that. I understand that perspective. But if I sit down and talk to Tyreek Hill and he's like, I want to go for the record.
Of course he's going to say that, healthy or not. Pretty much every player is going to say that. But as a job as a coach.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
Decisions. And
I get that. But at the same time, I get the player's perspective too. There is the opportunity. There is the opportunity for him to do that.
Players are going to say, I'm good to play because they want to play, whether they're good or not.
Yeah, I completely get that. And as a coach, it sucks, but it is what it is. I would never take that away.
It's a good thing the players don't make the final decision of whether they play.
Yep, and I would never take that away. I would never take that away from a player. If he's even semi-remotely able to do it, I would never take that away from him.
Yeah, Tyreek might have actually been able to play last week.
Yeah,
really don't know. They might have held him out for precautionary reasons, but like, hey, like you're
Well,
getting
it was the Jets.
yeah, and clearly they didn't need him. I mean, they freaking blew the
Fucking
shit.
30-0.
Yeah, it is bad. And dude, did you guys see? Speaking about the Jets, did you see Wilson on the sideline having a conversation with Rodgers?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that dude is not happy, and I think the Jets have some decisions to make, and I think the first decision that needs to happen is someone needs to sit Rodgers down and tell him, "You're the fucking quarterback, not the GM. We're gonna bring the guys we feel are gonna help us win. We ain't doing this whole fucking Randall Cobb, freaking Nathaniel Hackett, who has no clue how to run an offense." Okay, and all these your little buddies. Okay, it was great when you guys were winning 8 years ago in Green Bay. Okay, we, it's time we bring in some new blood, and that starts with Saleh reminding Rodgers whose team that is. I understand Rodgers is a very respected player, but he has over the course of, I want to say of like the last like 4 years, he is so used to just getting his way, and it's like, dude, you guys, mind you, Rodgers has only won one Super Bowl. As good as all the teams has been, his MVP seasons, all that, he hasn't. He doesn't do anything in the playoffs. He hasn't.
Yeah. I mean, the only person to prove that they are that guy is Tom Brady.
Yeah,
that's the only person to prove it. I don't think Aaron Rodgers has proved that he's good, but he hasn't proved that.
Yeah, no, he's great, and he's getting older.
Yep.
Like it's just they need to sit down and have a man-to-man conversation with them. Be like, look, we respect input, and that's respect your input. You know what I mean? And that's what you always have to tell someone. We respect your input, but we feel this team needs to go in a different direction than these other guys. And if Roger can't handle that, there you go.
Get out later, boy.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
It's just like when he was in Green Bay. He bitched and complained because he had no weapons, right?
Mm-hmm.
He goes to New York and he fucking brings the people that he had with Green Bay. You had no weapons. Why are you bringing those guys with you?
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a really good statement, Mike. I'm not going to lie. You know what? Here's your golden sticker for the day. Boop. But, yeah, they really do need to calm Rodgers down on.
Yeah. I honestly.
Next year is Rodgers' last season.
No, exactly. I was just gonna go there, Scott. I was like, I don't see the Jets being any better next season. Honestly, I think we're so hyped up on the Rodgers. Maybe he could do some good, and I mean, it couldn't get any worse. Is what we right because the Jets were so bad over the past few years, and it's like it couldn't get any worse. Rodgers is just gonna take them skyrocket from here, and that rocket that was one I built. So.
To see what the Jets do in the offseason, if they definitely need another wideout. Let's start there, and they need some line pieces because
they need a line bad.
And I also feel like the offense, like when Rodgers does come back, I think the offense will be better because Breece Hall isn't going to be going up against a completely like 16-person box. Like it's crazy when you look at like no one respects any type of throw coming from the Jets. Like it's impossible for Breece Hall. So I feel like next year, if they can prove that they can pass the ball, obviously they will with Rodgers. That's going to open up the run game. I think we'll see a better offense out of the Jets. But if I'm the Jets,
what do you think is better than what they're doing now?
Yeah, their defense will be fine. The problem is their defense is just always on the field, so they get scored on. But the defense is young. It's going to be good. They'll be ready to play next year, I think. But they do need to shore up that offensive line, and they need another wide receiver, another good young wide receiver.
Hey, what happens? I'm a hot fucking take. Jets get a fucking quarterback in the first round next year.
Hey,
fuck!
But
hey, and they trade up for him.
Might be a hot take.
Oh my god! Yeah, you want to fucking be the GM, Rodgers? Here you go.
Here you go, bitch.
Fucking Green Bay all over again.
Yeah, imagine doing that to him. He'd be so ballistic. He'd fucking be like, "I'm going to a dark cave and do all the psychedelic shrooms for the rest of my life."
So with all that, what do you guys think about Kansas City, man? What are you guys at on Kansas City? Because I feel like Kansas City is not going to get out of the first round of the playoffs.
I think they need to fucking lose out, and the Raiders need to win out so that we can go to the fucking playoffs.
I think they'll get out of the first round of the playoffs only because they'll have a home game.
I agree. I don't disagree with that, Mikey. I think they'll get lucky though, because their team is not Super Bowl caliber. They are not what they used to be.
They're the number 3 seed. They win their home game. They lose on the road.
I don't disagree. Their stadium helps them a lot.
It does, but the problem is that their wide receivers are, and this is something that happens with most teams that have started winning, especially with a young quarterback in Mahomes and other guys that want to get paid. You're paying a lot of money to Mahomes. I mean, a lot of money. You're paying a lot of money to Kelsey, and you're paying a lot of money to Chris Jones. And the problem with that is that you have to weed out. You kind of have to thin out at other places. And the one spot they did at wide receiver, because I really felt okay, Mahomes is good enough that he can take B receivers and make them look like A receivers.
Yeah, that's exactly what Tom Brady could do.
Yeah, and I don't think that's been a problem. Mahomes has looked good this year. The problem is that all the drop passes, they're wide receivers that they have.
They're not B receivers.
So,
they're fucking like
yeah,
F receivers.
Joe, I was talking to Matt on lunch, and the news came through that the Chiefs, they put Sky Moore on IR, right? He'll miss the remainder of the season. I told Matt, I said they need to put Kadarius Toney on IR with his broken ass hands.
Hit that, like, you that you've never seen Patrick Mahomes go on the sideline and yell about a receiver the way he did with that Kadarius Toney drop for an interception. And that goes back to, remember what I said at the beginning of the football season? The NFL needs to change stats, dude. If a quarterback puts a ball right into a wide receiver's chest and they drop it like that and gets intercepted, it should not go on the quarterback stats.
Yeah. This season has been the worst season for Mahomes because of his wide receivers.
Yes, like, interceptions.
It's fucking crazy, man. And how many more yards would he have had his fucking receivers not just not drop the ball? Like, I understand where like it's a good defense, and like they just don't catch it, whatever. But you have a bunch of catchable balls that are just dropped.
They would have beat the Eagles had Scantling not dropped that pass. That was a perfectly thrown ball. Perfect. An easy touchdown. But that's what it goes back to, where this is why I respect Tom Brady so much, because the guy was like, I'm going to make money else. Like, come on, Mahomes, you know you're making a ton of money outside of football. Why would you just not get paid less money? Like what Ohtani did, what me and Mike talked about with Ohtani.
Yeah.
You know, earning $68 million of $70 million because he makes a bunch of money outside of football. Now he is going to eventually get paid, but if people would go back and just look at the things that Tom Brady did to make sure, because his legacy was more important than him getting paid.
Yep.
And to me, that's a true teammate.
That is not a teammate, Scotty. That is a champion.
Yeah.
That is a champion.
And that's someone understanding the bigger picture. Like, everyone wants to play who has a bigger dick with their freaking contracts. You know what I mean? Like, Dak did not deserve, I'm sorry, I don't give a shit. Dak did not deserve the contract that he got.
Daniel Jones, same thing.
To me, it's what you do in the playoffs. I don't give a shit about regular season. How many teams get into the playoffs that were like, really don't deserve to be there, but like Daniel Jones, the Giants, I'm sorry, they overachieved last year. And what did they do? They panicked and overpaid Daniel Jones. And now look at them this year.
Mm-hmm.
Dak Prescott, he looks great against average to below average teams. Always has. But he cannot beat good teams.
Yeah.
I don't know if he puts all the pressure on himself or what it is, but the dude just cannot beat good teams. He's proven it in the regular season, and he's proved. And
I've always said this. The Patriots under Tom Brady, the way that they structured their team and like did their incentivized contracts is why they always won. Outside of Tom Brady's mastermind and his ability to take that offense to the next level, even when it struggled.
But I think a lot of that goes back to what you guys were just talking about with Tom Brady. He didn't give a shit about having the record-setting contract.
Well, that's the point, Mike. He doesn't care. It's you have a contract, and you're going to spread it evenly so that we have a B-list team, or not even that. You could even say they were C tier. They had a C tier team, and Tom Brady was the A star who took less money so you could have everybody else be C's and B's, and he made them all look like A's.
Yeah, and if you really think about like a lot of the teams that are really stacked up, like the Niners, the only reason they're able to have the team that they have is because of the contract that Brock Purdy's on.
Yeah.
But if the Niners win the Super Bowl this year, I'm not saying the Niners are going to have to pay Brock Purdy the following season, but they're going to have to fork out, like if he continues to play the way he is and they continue to win, something's going to have to give. And
well, you would pay Ayuk would get paid this year, and then they'd have to pay Purdy next year.
Yeah, but the problem is that I understand the salary cap's going up, but
hey, how happy would you guys be if Brock Purdy turns out to be like Tom Brady in the mindset, right? Like, I don't want to be the highest paid. I just want to make sure that my team gets paid so we keep winning.
You never know.
He could, because all it takes is one person to break that mold. You haven't seen it yet. Tom Brady's been the only person to do that that I can name. Everyone else fights to be the fucking highest paid. I want to be the highest paid. No, I'm on a fucking 3-year contract that I signed yesterday. Somebody else signs a higher contract tomorrow. I'm going to hold out because I want more than them. What the fuck? Dude, fucking go play football, man. Like, everyone wants to be the highest paid. If I'm a coach or an owner of an NFL, I'm like, fuck y'all. I'm going to go get a team. I don't care. And let other teams suffer because they're overpaying everyone. They can't afford to pay everyone. I like the salary cap idea. Now, baseball, I don't know. You already know my position on baseball. That fucking sucks.
The baseball goes a little different. Like, there's a cap, but not a cap. So, like, they call it's a luxury tax. So you can build a team with $237 million. Once you go past that threshold, the team gets fined money, and it goes. There's 4 tiers, and once you hit the 3rd tier, you're also losing. You're also dropping back in the draft.
Yeah, you drop 10. You drop 10 spots in the draft.
Yep. And by the time you reach the 4th tier, you're actually paying. So, like, what it is if you're 60 million. So if your payroll is over 297 million,
yeah,
you have to pay 110% of whatever you're over.
Fuck.
Pay an extra. So on top of that, you're going to pay an extra $60 million plus 10%. So it's another $6.7 million.
So at the end of his 10-year contract, Shohei Ohtani's fucking the whole thing, the whole salary cap.
It's funny that you bring that up because the Dodgers are going to be fine for the first 10 years. Second 10 years, they're going to have $68 million on the book for 10 years for a player that's not playing with them. So the Dodgers are kind of looking like, win now, get fucked later. Does that make sense? So
yeah, they're going to win now. Ohtani's going to take it.
And they're wide open right now. And they have a really good farm system.
Yeah, and that's the thing is they recognize that window as being right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Freeman. Freeman's got what, 3 more years?
No, I mean he's 34 right now. He'll be 35.
Well, let's not talk about
first base.
baseball,
First
I
base
don't know
can play
shit
a lot.
about baseball.
First base does play longer.
Is there a spiral? I'm just kidding.
But yeah, you guys got anything else you guys want to touch on other than these NFL races being tight?
Nah, the only thing is I want to talk about my boys fucking dominating.
Okay,
that game.
I'm sorry that they beat a fucking arena.
Yeah, I know. I was talking about that the other day because everybody was like, "Yeah, the Raiders." I'm like, bro, they played a fucking freshman team in high school and dominated them, and everyone like 63 points. That's like the most points we're gonna score in the next 3 seasons.
Yeah. Who cares? If I was a Raider fan, I'd still be excited. It's still fun.
Yeah, fuck yeah, it was awesome to watch. But I think you know what? I think the team needed it because it's good. It's gonna slide a fire under them to play better because they had. How do you lose the fucking Vikings 3-0, bro? Like you can't make one fucking field goal with Daniel Carlson. Like you can't make one fucking field goal. Like fucking do it at the other team's 45 and he'll still make it. Like you have a better chance than losing 3-0. It was stupid. And
I've never seen a team not score a point and in the following week almost put up 70. That was one of the most insane turnarounds. I don't know what y'all did, but
Well, what is it? Like only the third time in NFL history or something like that that was the score?
It was like a couple times, but I think the
Yeah.
Raiders had the second highest scoring one from that or something. Like the first one was like the Philadelphia Eagles from like 1934 or something.
Did you see it? Hey, did you see any pictures of the Panther Stadium like 10 minutes before kickoff?
My gosh.
Empty?
Yes.
And the tickets were 75 cents?
45. There were some it was 45 cents, and people still said, I got something better to do.
That's crazy, bro.
And then Carolina won the game.
That's just crazy.
Arthur Rhodes in Atlanta, he's another guy I don't think is going to make it.
Nah, Bijan Robinson's performance just fucking.
And it's not like Atlanta doesn't have weapons on offense either. Like they got some over there. They should put points. You know, I think if the Bucks, I mean Baker Mayfield, dude, did you guys happen to watch him at all?
No, but I know he's playing significantly better. Especially like Rashad White is doing really well too.
He's doing
that team's gonna be very fun to watch. Trying to see the Texans are out, huh? They can't. They have no way. They have no path.
I think they're in 8th place right now.
They're in 8th?
They won that. Dude, that race is ridiculously tight. There's like 3 teams that are 8, and so the Bills are 8 and 6. The
Jags,
Colts are 8 and 6, and also the Texans are 8 and 6. You still have Denver at 7 and 7.
Bengals are 8 and 6 also.
Yeah, Bengals are 8 and 6, but
Browning has come in and he stepped in and done.
Yeah, but actually, they don't even need Chase, bro. You know what? I'm fucking pissed off that Jamar Chase goes down right when I'm about to play in the fucking playoffs right now. He would go down. I hate this. I hate football. I'm not gonna play. I'm done. I quit. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, with Jamar Chase going down and you have a backup quarterback, it's going to be rough for the Bengals.
Nah, I don't think so. I think Jamar Chase, T. Higgins is dominant. He's fucking amazing. You watched that game last week? Fucking greatest catch of the decade. Like Odell Beckham, who bitch? Like that catch or that catch where he fucking went forward, caught it, and was like, whoop, touchdown. I was like, decade, best catch of the decade.
I don't know. We'll see. I feel that this Bengals might end up barely missing out.
I know. I think the Texans need. I would love for the Texans to make it in, and I'm so sad that Tank Dell got fucking demolished because had he not, I think if Tank Dell's in and CJ Stroud is fucking like gets healthy and goes. I think we had a concussion last week, right?
Week.
Yes, I think if he's able to get right and Tank Dell were still there, I feel like that team would be a really fun to watch because I think it would just ignite a fire under them. That fuck, look at us, we're in the fucking playoffs, man. Let's go.
Well, so that division right now is just like the NFC South. You have 3 teams tied for first.
Yeah. Give it away.
Jacksonville can give it away.
Jacksonville's lost 3 in a row.
Yeah, and that's because they fucking suck low key.
You know what? Jacksonville, I don't know what it is. It just seems like when they have a big game, they don't step up. They just disappear. Mm-hmm. And I hate to say it, but Trevor Lawrence, number 1 overall pick. They said he needed to get weapons. They gave him weapons, and as soon as he lost one weapon with Christian Kirk, all of a sudden it's like the offense can't move the ball anymore. And it's interesting because you don't see anyone really talking about Trevor Lawrence in that way because he was number 1 pick, right? What did everyone say about Brock Purdy as soon as he lost the weapon? Oh, Brock Purdy ain't shit. Oh,
shit. Yeah. How much is that Trevor Lawrence card worth now, Scott?
I don't know. I sold all mine. I rid of all my Trevor stuff. I know when to sell. But anyways,
Tony wasn't here last week. Who's going to win that division, Tony?
Which one?
AFC South.
Texans.
No.
Jags, Texans, Colts.
South. Or how about both?
AFC South. So here, Jaguars remaining games
Okay, go.
they're at Tampa Bay, home against the Panthers, at Tennessee.
Okay, they win one more. Okay, he won. Next one.
The Colts, they're at Atlanta, they're home against the Raiders, and home against the Texans.
Fuck me. Go to the next one.
And the Texans are home against the Browns, home against the Titans, and at Indianapolis Colts.
Fuck me. Go to
That's it.
That's it. Oh, I mean, you want the Titans who are already eliminated?
Yeah, but okay, they're playing. I don't give a fuck. But like the Titans aren't gonna go in. But
Well, you don't need to know about the Titans. You have Jacksonville, Indy, and Houston. They're all tied 8-6 right now.
yeah, no. But I want to know who the Titans are playing because I want to know how it affects if they beat because they can beat teams and fuck it up for everybody else, right?
Seahawks, Texans, Jaguars.
Yeah, but we're talking about who's going to win the division.
So Colts are gonna win the division.
I think the Jags hold on. I do think the Jags hold on.
I think Texans are going to miss out. I think the Texans are going to get third only because they're playing the Browns next, and Joe Flacco has fucking found himself from his Super Bowl self. I think the Browns are going to beat the Texans. I think the Texans are going to lose to the Colts. Well, it depends. CJ Stroud might take them. Might take them.
Fucking winner.
Colts. I think Colts.
I'm going to stay with Jags.
All three teams could go 2-1.
See, now Mike doesn't want to pick a team either.
That's bullshit, Mike.
I never said it.
You stay exactly the same.
My name is Mike.
I'm just saying they really could. I'm gonna say Jags.
Fuck you guys. Colts.
Jags.
Hey, but I did call the Browns like in week 10. I told you guys that Browns defense.
You did. But you know what? No, it's not the Browns defense. Don't fucking even go there. It's Joe Flacco. He's fucking reignited himself and he's fucking bombing it to everybody. And he's fucking the Browns defense is just a plus for him. They make him look better than he is.
The Joe Flacco magic, but
Browns have allowed the
Joe
second
Flacco
most in their
magic.
division or in that conference. Or I'm sorry, in their division. Pittsburgh has allowed less points than the Browns.
I'm still think the Browns have a better defense.
Yeah, the Browns are just so good on defense, man.
Go based off of schedule as to like who might be playing like bigger powered offenses. But with that said, guys, we're almost at 50 minutes. I think we bored people enough. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm good. Matt sucks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Happy birthday, Matt.
No, don't indulge him. He's old.
Okay, never mind. Fuck Matt.
Happy birthday, gay boy.
He's probably choking on a candle right now.
So, okay. Well, with that said, we appreciate everyone joining in. Maybe Thursday, another podcast. I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll see.
That'll be my last day, Thursday. My last day to do the podcast because I'm busy. It's Christmas weekend, so we're gone every day.
Well, we're not going to say anyways.
Why?
Can't say.
All right, Merry Christmas, guys.
Oh, so with that said, have a good night, everybody. Thanks for joining in, and we will see you on the next episode.
See ya.
See ya.